Where do you find all that stuff? That's a question that I often get asked by my clients as well. I'm Kirstin Nussgruber from Kirstin'sCancerCare.com, and I help people with cancer get out of overwhelm by teaching them how to reclaim their lives. Nutrition and then applying nutrition is a huge component of that. So, how do you select your food stores? Where do I go shopping? And how do I make it most convenient? Well, I think the times of just using one food store for convenience, your local supermarket, I think those times are slowly shifting simply because people don't have enough time anymore to go out all the time. They use online resources a lot. And simply because people have become too picky. We want certain things, we want certain brands. And if one supermarket doesn't have that, we can get kind of annoyed, at least I can. Especially if it's a supermarket that has basically everything else that I need. Why don't you have that particular product? And then you kind of, when you ask, you get involved in understanding the kind of politics of shelving and who gets shelf space, what, and this and that. I don't want to be involved with that. I want my products. So how do I go shopping? I basically select from 4 different categories. So the first category is my local supermarket. Why? Because it's convenient, because I'm usually driving around the area, so I would pass it. So local supermarkets, and especially around here in New Jersey in the United States, they have an incredible array now of organic produce. And if we're lucky enough, then they kind of group that produce, the more natural organic aisles, into one particular section or in the store, so you don't have to go through every single aisle trying to pick the pieces out. And that's something that you can actually give as feedback to the store managers. They'd love to hear from you. Because we stopped going to those supermarkets, and that's a big proportion of people who want to buy organic, but they then have to run around the entire store, which they're trying to do to force you to do that. You can say no to that. So my local supermarket, I absolutely love. Then there are certain specialty stores where I know I can get that particular spice or that particular brand of, instead of the Himalayan sea salt that I usually buy, I want the Celtic sea salt. So those would be your health food stores or maybe integrated pharmacies, and they're very locally based. So you just need to kind of know where they are nearby. You can Google that as well, find out where a health food store is or an integrated pharmacy is. They will have specialty items that every now and then I'll go back to, and that's usually bulk items that can last for quite some time. Then, of course, local farms or farmer markets here. So they have sprung up and they are increasing year by year. So you could either go on a weekend where you have a conglomeration of farmers coming together in your local towns, or you actually go physically to your local farm, to where they grow and produce the foods, or where they raise the livestock that they're selling, or products of the livestock that they're selling, like eggs. So again, find out who's in your local environment and then make a point of going there. Sometimes they offer CSAs, which is community shared agriculture, where you kind of buy a share and then you get the produce off of that. So you're almost investing in that farm and you reap the benefits of it. And that can work pretty well too. Or you just go to a farm stand where you can, sometimes you pay ahead, and then, you know, each time you go get fresh produce, they add it up and take it off the list, but you also kind of invested in that local farm. And that makes sense to do too. They offer so much more variety than what you would find in your supermarkets. That can especially the organic sections, that can be a little bit the same old. The same style of red radish will be there. Whereas if you go to your local farm or your local farm stand, they can have 3, 4, 5 different varieties of radishes there, varieties of tomatoes there. It is incredible. You probably won't even recognize them. You've never seen them before because you simply don't get them in supermarkets. So it really pays to find out where is your local farm, where's your local farmer's market, and pay them regular visits and come back with freshly grown, seasonally grown, fresh produce, and sometimes also animal byproducts too, meats or eggs, for example. And then, of course, lastly, online. So there sometimes are certain specialty products that I like to buy in bulk. For example, nuts, raw nuts. I use them a lot. So I go to a place called nuts.com. And there are a million places out there. I've also sourced a couple of farmers actually out in California that don't pasteurize their walnuts, for example. So they're more nutrient dense. So those are more non-perishables that I can buy there, and that when I buy them in bulk. And so I only have to do that maybe 2 or 3 times a year maximum. And the same goes for, sometimes people do that for certain meat cuts or certain fish as well, that they can buy frozen and it gets delivered frozen to your door too, but you're guaranteed that you have nutrient-dense products. So that can be another option for you. And I know that many of my clients welcome that, just sitting in front of their computers and just going through their shopping list that way and placing order after order. So sometimes that works for you too. So I have my different sources here, and it's kind of the mindset that I have with that is the way my grandmother and great-grandmother used to shop. Now, they were both from Germany and what is today Poland. They would go to the market, they would go on a regular basis, but they would get fresh food all the time. And you would go to the butcher, and you would go to the baker, and you would go to the farmer. So, you didn't have this one-stop shop place like a supermarket to go to, which is where quality often a little bit suffers. And not just quality, but also variety. You're just not exposed to that variety anymore. And when we want to have a really strong, nourished body from within, we need to give it variety. All the different vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and phytonutrients that we find in our food, we want variety. And one way to ensure that is to understand we need to shop in different places. So I hope this was helpful. I have a smart food shopping little booklet, little tips in there that you can download as well. And it fleshes a little bit out what I'm talked about. But I just want to help you get into the kitchen, get your butt into the kitchen and start cooking real good food, and in a manageable, in a sustainable way that fits your budget, fits your time schedule, but most importantly, nourishes your body from within, because it's so sorely lacking these days. We need to get back to our roots and understand that it's our responsibility to feed this, because the strength happens from within. Take care for now.